Hi, everyone, and welcome to the TCHe7s Network. I am Carmine Danisco, your co-host for today's show of The Coffee House. And as usual, we are traveling, visiting not only entrepreneurs, great coffee houses, and seeing what makes them tick. And I usually join up with my co-host, Mr. Christopher Shara, and he does most of the searching. He does most of the work. I kind of hang out in the studio and act like I'm doing technical stuff, but really make him do most of the work. And I think right now we have him on, and he's somewhere up in New York. Hey, Chris, you over there?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Hey, no, hey, you're drinking
My bagel emporium coffee. Yeah, no, this is going to be an interesting one. Today it's pouring rain here. It's warm out. And I wanted to bring on someone that I got the pleasure to meet that's in the gym business, which you know is my passion as well as yours. Before we get going and talk about it, the store that I'm in is the original Yorktown beer distributor that had a history in this town. I think we're sitting in the cooler or the stock room. But when it went out some years ago, being a contractor in town, I try to push businesses and get them restarted. This space has now broken up into a couple of spaces. We have the Bagel Emporium next door, which they have 5 locations. They came to Yorktown. So I was always coming to this parking lot, and then one day I noticed the Level Up sign behind me, and I said, what's going on here? You know, me, nosy, I have to know everything. Luck, as luck would have it, one of our my favorite restaurants that I promote, and buddies of mine, the Fursies, they put a call in to me, said, can you come meet this guy Rob? He's doing a gym in town. I said, what gym? Where's there a gym? And how come I don't know about it? When he said Level Up, I dropped everything. I said, I'm on my way. The beauty of this location, there'll be a salon going in next door. We have the beautiful bagel place next door. Right here in town, we have Fursies. Rob has a lot of connections to, like, one of the shows I'd like to do next, or I'll plug in for Bobo's Cafe. Great bunch of guys, great family, great coffee house. So right now I want to do this fitness side today, because this side is what fascinated me about Rob. The day I was here, he said he drinks coffee. Yep. And he loves his coffee. And just not to forget one other plug, I got to throw a plug in for my company, CS Construction, because I was proud. I also got to do some work with Rob, where we hung some rack on the wall you could put an elephant on, and make sure that we don't pull the coffee machine down on the other side. So good stuff. And it was a pleasure now meeting him, and I'll be able to get trained properly. He'll take me under his wing. All right. So yeah, I want to turn it over to Rob and hear a lot about him. He's a very interesting guy.
Hey, before you do that, Chris, your construction company, do they drink coffee, or are they allowed to take coffee breaks?
I wish they would take less coffee breaks. I think because of me, they're taking too many. One other thing I always try to stress: if you're gonna have coffee, try not to have the bacon, egg, and cheese, and with the double sausage. I need them to go back to work and work. The coffee and the bacon and egg kind of offsets being able to move fast.
Puts them all to sleep.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens.
All right. Well, cool. I'm super excited about this episode too, because Rob, I know that we were talking before we started recording the episode, and I know we're going to do a multi-part series because health, coffee, nutrition in general is kind of part of what we're doing with this show. I mean, we really we love coffee. We love visiting coffee houses. We like entrepreneurship in general. And you're kind of fit into all of those categories. You're next to a coffee shop. You like drinking coffee. You eat well. And I don't even want to insult you. You're a personal trainer, but you own your own gym. So you're above a personal trainer. You're an entrepreneur. So, I mean, you fit into all the pegs. And I think that being able to do multiple shows with you, and you could really help not only us, but our listeners kind of, again, drink coffee, but not in excess, work out, and really learn about the business side of what you do. So before we kind of get started asking you some questions, I know Chris has a bunch of them. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this predicament of owning your own business, my friend?
So
Uh, I grew up always playing sports, so I was always had that competitive edge. I played college baseball in Lynchburg. I played high school ball, played high school football as well in Somers, so I was kind of around locally. And, you know, college-wise, I wanted to do something with the fitness industry because I wasn't very, good with just sitting at a desk. I kind of like being up on my feet, moving around. And then I really just found a passion for really helping other people. And then through fitness is just the number one thing to do. And there's always so many fitness industries out there that are trying to find, what works best for them and things like that. So once I graduated, I kind of explored around. I worked at probably 4 to 5 gyms, different types of gyms, franchise gyms, private gyms, big corporation gyms. So Crunch was one of the biggest ones I worked for down in the city in Manhattan on Broadway. That was a really good experience there. Then smaller gyms of like, Anytime Fitness types, those types of gyms. So I kind of got to get, a little bit of everything and kind of see what works, what didn't really work, what kind of I enjoyed most of, doing for clients or group classes or the bigger classes. So I try to really expand my expertise and really be able to provide almost everything. You go to a lot of gyms and they're, they only do personal training, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But in my eyes, I really wanted to try to create a place where all levels can come and work out. So that's kind of where the whole level up came into play. And so now I kept telling myself, if I want all levels, how's this going to work? And then I was thinking of maybe someone starting off as a real beginner and then they've been with me for 4 years and they really made progress. So then I was like, all right, well, that's leveling up, so they leveled up. So then that's when I was like, wow, I can just use something like that and do level up fitness. And then with my background, the strength and conditioning. So I kind of put all that together. And then now I have level up fitness, strength and conditioning, but I really instill the fact that no matter what level of fitness you're at, whether you like to come in and just do your own thing, that's fine. You can come in and do your own thing. You're a seasoned athlete, you're a competitive athlete. You're just, you're regular, whatever. You can come on in and whatever it is that you need, I'll cater to that. I have young kids coming in at 9 years old.
Wow.
I have older folks coming at 65. So demographically, the biggest range is, in my eyes, that's good to have that range because I can really, share my knowledge and show like my passion for all this that, every level can do something. And, here at Level Up Fitness, if you're 65 years old, you just want to be able to move more functionally, right? So now you're leveling up in a different sense of, everyday lifestyles are better, you're making healthier choices, things like that. And then like your 9-year-olds, they're coming in, they don't really know exactly what they want to do. They might be doing a sport. They might find, say lacrosse, baseball, football, and then doing the training. They're like, oh, wow, I really like training for baseball, let's say. And so now they find their passion for that. And so now they kind of get into a different level for that. And that's where we kind of guide them in that way. And it's kind of just pick and choosing whatever you want. You really got to give them, the audience, the customers, your members, as much as they want to choose from. And that's kind of where I started from there.
That's cool. I like what you say because as Chris knows and as you know, smart people know that they need a coach. No matter who you are, you need someone to help you in a sense. Nothing good is ever done by yourself. So I like what you said about allowing them, though, to do what they need to do. You're not trying to push what you want them to do on them. And I think that's kind of stops a lot of people from going to the gym because they worry about what other people are going to make them do or what they're going to say or So I like your way of doing things where, hey, listen, we're going to do what you need to do, but I'm just here to help you if you need it.
Yeah. That's another thing too. Being comfortable. That's the other thing. Being in a gym is very uncomfortable. Yeah. You're very vulnerable. So it's
why I don't go.
Exactly. There you go. So people don't even want to go because of that. So as an owner or as being, around the gym, you have to know that people are very vulnerable and you have to make them feel comfortable in what they're doing. So, you can't have them coming in right away, like full go, getting all crazy. Because then, that might make them a little nervous or in a group setting, a lot of times people get nervous with being in a group setting. But once you start to see the group setting of how supportive everyone is and respectful, that's the other thing. When in a group setting here, classes, That's the number one thing. You must be supportive and you must be respectful. You know, there's no putting anyone down. If someone's lifting 500 pounds and the person next to you is lifting 100 pounds, who cares? They're both lifting and they're both doing something.
Rob brings a very good point to that. I had to stop doing certain classes because the women could lift more than me when I had my shoulder problem. When my knees were bad, when I was severely overweight, I couldn't do the dips. And the problem was I would do the light or just the bar, and that's how I looked. Strong guy doing just the bar. They've got three weights on each side. The point was, I was uncomfortable, so I stopped doing it. If there was a problem with my knees and the dips, I need a guy like Rob to tell me, you got to build your quads. You can't put all the stress on your knee. And that's one thing that I feel Level Up it has to offer better than having a gym membership. I have access to 3 gyms, which includes the one at home. But that doesn't help me if I'm doing it wrong. And when I see people on the machines and a vast variety of machines that are not doing it right, I want to say to them, you should really consider a personal trainer. It could be at that facility, but I think Rob's niche is really important, especially in this town, because, everybody wants to feel good. They want to walk, but when they can't walk because of the ailments, which I had to stop walking, I think Rob's going to be a perfect example of helping people, which is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
The other thing too, that was a good point, was, everyone's on the machines, but the biggest picture is we are machines. So we need to be moving our own bodies as well. So if you're a machine on another machine, it kind of like, now you think of it that way, it's a little, skeptical of, why am I on a machine working my own machine, things like that. So that's another thing that I try to tell members here and, the clients that I have. Your body is a machine. So we're going to work that body as a machine to move it functionally. Okay. So that means, we're not going to just lay on a bench press and do bench presses. Let's, maybe do a push-up, but let's add maybe a row to it. So now we're adding in the push-up variation, but at the same time, I'm adding in a core movement. Now I'm doing coordination as well. So, as you get older, balance, coordination, those start to go down. But now that I add those implements into it, we're working on those things. So we're touching up on all of those aspects of fitness. So we're not losing anything. If I'm sitting on a machine, doing a bench press, whatever, there's certain muscles working, it's isolating those muscles. But then again, it might be less coordination. It might be less balance. So I'm not saying it's bad, but it might not just be as functional for certain clients. So that's why here, if you would come in and look at the gym, like, Rob, you don't really have mirrors, you don't really have many machines. I said, yeah, there's a reason for all of that thing, because most of the stuff here is functional training or sports-specific training, things like that. In order to move well, you have to be functionally trained. Not saying sitting on a bench press or things like that is bad, but nowadays it's better to be more functionally active than, to kind of tell somebody, yeah, I can get on a bench press and bench press 500 pounds. That's good, but let's move functionally now. Everything's, linked to everyday lifestyles.
Where I think this helps the most, Carmine, in my experience, is I'm 55 years old now. And how did I have access to 3 gyms, get 50 pounds overweight? I had to really adapt my body to the proper way to be the shape I'm supposed to be based on BMI, your body mass index. If I could take a guy like Rob, walk in his place and say, here you go. Why am I having this ailment? Why am I having this? Oh, it's age. Well, I'm not using every part of your core, obviously, is what should carry you, but I'm not using every part. So I have this constant lat that pulls. I have this constant lower pain in my back because I'm always on the run. I don't do morning stretches, which I should. I want a guy that does this stuff. I don't want to guess anymore. I don't want to go to the gym and throw the weights around. I want my body specifically functioning. So when I'm out running, I get in my car, I don't twist my back out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Because you are on the go, you are very susceptible to any kind of injury, right, Rob?
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the construction, he's climbing ladders, standing in different positions for a very long time. He's using every muscle in his body. And there are
He's
times
right, because I'm in more pain when I'm on a job, which he knows because I helped out here. And while my worker is a machine doing it, I'm running out to the truck, I'm getting stuff, I'm running to Home Depot. By the end of the day, it's as if I climbed the ladders and I was putting a roof on. My body is beat up because, as I know, I'm mentally energetic from losing all the weight. I'm constantly on the run. Then my coffee, I don't stop maybe to jump on Rob's thing and stretch. You know, take one of his bands, stretch, take a bar and work it. That's what I need someone like him for. And that's what attracted me to this place, this style of fitness.
Yeah. No, I agree. And what I like about what Rob said is, as he said, somebody could be bench pressing 500 pounds. But in reality, when in life are you laying on a flat board and going to lift weight? Never. So three-dimensionally is where you need to be strengthened. That you can't just, being strong in one dimension doesn't really help you. It probably hurts you in a sense, right?
Yeah. Being multidimensional, that's the end goal, That's, the healthy lifestyle, and that's the way to go. It's just better that way. You can, have a better lifestyle that way, a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, I always had my spin classes, that's great, but then when I used to watch guys, I've been in the gym since I'm 16. I'm a member at one of the higher clubs around here for since 1985. Here's the thing. I watched people working out with the bench press in all those years. Say, man, I wish I had the time to do that. But I kept thinking to myself, someday I'm going to be in my 50s. Am I going to still be pushing all that weight? And I got enough trouble just trying to keep this lat. Is it my lat here that just keeps pulling right here? Right here? Right in here. Yeah, right there. That thing wrenches. I go, I didn't do anything. Why is that thing hurt? I'm just trying to get from point A to point B.
No, it's awesome. And that's kind of what we talk about and what we want to talk about on this show. And I want our listeners to know that if they have some questions for myself, for Chris, for Rob. I mean, we're actually gathering such a great group of not only professionals in the business world about industry and coffee and things like that, but in the health and fitness world. There's not going to be one of our listeners that can't use the information from one of these podcasts or from multi parts of them. And that's what's kind of great about the shows that we're going to be producing. So Rob, Chris tells me that the reason that you put your gym in where it is now is because it was close to a coffee shop. Is that true?
Yeah, I was looking for only coffee shops, actually, and there had to be space available, so it was very slim pickings.
They gave you a break on the rent if you moved in next to the coffee shop.
Yeah, I have a deal with them and everything. That's
funny, but I know that we were talking before we started recording. You kind of use coffee as a tool also. I mean, a lot of people like coffee, but some people use it to, hey, listen, I work in long hours. I'm doing different things. And we were talking about, is that kind of how you got started drinking it?
Yeah. So it started in college, obviously. And I would just drink coffee, college, how college is, studying late nights. And so I have to get a cup of coffee, drink the coffee late at night, study, get the work in. And then once that was done, then I went to obviously working at gyms, and I was up early mornings. Drinking some coffee, and then, it'll be midday, and then I'd drink another cup, and then late at night, I'll be finishing up, but then I had to be up again early. So just that routine kind of got me into drinking a little bit more coffee here and there. And then, I would go to your Starbucks, your Dunkin' Donuts first, just to start with things like that. Then I started to go to some of the, the local cafes, and then just drinking some of their coffee. And you can taste a little bit of a difference. I'm not like a professional, with the tasting stuff, but I can tell there's a little difference. So then I was like, wow, this is actually really good. I enjoy now having the cup of coffee. I look forward to it. So now I'm getting to a point where it's, if you get a good cup of coffee, like, wow, that is good. And like I was telling Chris before, I always like an espresso.
Ah.
Yeah, I do. I love it. And of course, all the Italian restaurants, when you're done with a nice Italian meal, you usually cap the night with a little espresso. So,
He's making me jealous. Did you hear him say that? Nice Italian meal?
Yeah, I wish.
These young guys are killing me. Those days are over for me.
Oh, man.
How I go to an Italian restaurant and I have a nice Italian meal. It's got to have a protein. It's got to have my vegetable. I got to read the menu for a half hour.
Then I want to get into the meals then of that. But yeah, so then I started getting into that, and then the espresso, I really enjoyed it. And then I had a couple espressos at certain cafes, and it kind of was a real big difference there. And I was like, wow, this is actually really good. And then, just telling Chris about it, he was like, oh, that's interesting. I've always liked espressos himself, and I always like a good coffee. And I was joking with him, but once I get my own place, I want my own espresso machine.
Nice.
Like the heavy duty ones, like you're grinding it up yourself and have that. Like that would be great, to start the morning off. So that's kind of something I was telling Chris that I definitely eventually like to get to, kind of getting my own espresso.
Yeah.
That's funny. He says that. He got me thinking, Carmine, yesterday at the other day when we shot at the legend Tony Lobianco's house, and he's got the big cappuccino machine. He just got it because he likes it. I noticed it's not plugged in. It's got his beautiful first movie over it. So I'm thinking of Rob. Now I'm thinking, where's he going to put it, and make sure it's plugged in.
Well, Rob, what's funny is that this machine is a serious espresso machine, and it's got dust on it. Not really, but I mean, it doesn't use it. It's just there for it's crazy. But what you can do is just make a hole in the wall, and you'll have your own espresso machine.
Yeah, I could. I can just have them pass me the grind, and I'll just make my own.
Exactly.
That's something an inventor would actually say.
Yeah.
Someone that's in the business. Yeah. And figure out a way to do it. And you're that guy.
I just put a little turntable on it and put a hole in the wall. Here we go.
Yeah, just spin it.
Yeah. What I love about, again, what's good about what we do here is we talk about coffee, but it's more of a social event. And even if there's people that don't drink coffee, and Chris and I run into people that drink tea or whatever, is that yourself, Rob, you could walk into a facility or a coffee house and sit down, and if somebody approaches you and said, hey, what do? You can help them. You're not going to say, oh, listen, I'm an oil well driller, which is nothing wrong with that, but you can't, oil drillers can't help that person, but somebody's going to talk to you and say, what do? You sometimes probably shy away from saying what you do because instantly they have 10 questions for you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you help them because you're looking for your clients and things like that. But it's amazing you could sit in a coffee shop, or Chris could sit in a coffee shop. So if you're a service type business, I recommend going and being social at these coffee shops and listen to our podcast because it can really help you not only get customers and clients, but it's a lot of fun to talk to people.
But yeah, that's the thing too. That's what's nice about it, is that social setting. So, I'll always meet some of my friends there at a coffee shop, and, we'll just sit, either have, a coffee or an espresso, and we'll just kind of talk a little bit. But, the local ones are nice too, because you'll still know a couple people that walk in, and then you kind of catch up a little bit, see what's going on. And the next thing you know leads into, oh, what are you up to? Oh, I just opened up a gym, things like that. So it's very good networking as well, with getting into those coffee shops and just trying to just sit down, have a little bit, just talk, catch up with people, and then it's just.
And that's where the connection worked for me and Rob, because I was brought in. He doesn't know who I was, who was being recommended. I walk in, I see it, we're having a conversation. By the time he and I got started on fitness and coffee, his father and Ed Percy, they went next door to have their coffee. Like, these guys got this thing down. But the key element that attracted me to what Rob does was his ability to talk about what his passion is and network. He doesn't shy away from that. He's straightforward, hardcore, work hard at everything he does. So that's why I had to be a part of what he's done and bring him aboard for what we do.
Oh yeah, it's great. And it's, you're not doing it as a salesy thing, Rob. I mean, people ask you, from what Chris was telling me, you're basically giving them information. You're telling them what they can do. You're not trying to say, oh, I can't tell you. You have to come and hire me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Yeah, it's a lot of trainers really don't give you anything until it's like, you got to give me something. But
well, that's why they're not.
Very honest, too. Very honest.
One thing, Carmine, before I forget, because I'm going off my notes because he just interests me so much with what he does. I saw him this morning, and he's looking a little sore. I'm like, how could you be sore? What do you mean your store? What are you jumping on the bars with the clients? I want to just touch on what Rob did because again, he caught me off guard.
Yeah, so I was telling him I just got back from Miami. We did a competition called the Wadapalooza. So it's a 3-day event. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday of competing with over thousands of athletes. I did it with 2 other teammates, so we did a team of 3. And it starts off with an online qualifier. So 3 months ago, we did online workouts. It was 10 workouts in, I want to say, 3 to 4 weeks. We had to do the workouts, video it, submit it, and then qualify. So we qualified, got in, and then we had a nice trip to Miami and competed against, thousands of athletes, which was a great time. And it's incredible. You got just look up.
How do you feel now, Carmine?
Yeah, I'm tired just listening to that.
The atmosphere is electric. It's unbelievable working out in front of all those people and just like-minded people. Everyone's there is, having the same mind, and they're just, pursuing the same thing and have a good passion for, helping out a community, building up a good family-based setting of just, competing, working out with each other. And we did the team, so it was very, cool with the bonding. It was a fun time. We all stayed together at an Airbnb, had a lot of fun. And then, yeah, it's just like almost like a celebration for qualifying.
Yeah,
that's great because I keep hearing about all these Spartan races. My wife's like, "You got to come on this Spartan race." And I'm not climbing walls and going through the mud. Those days are over. I don't need to do that. But what he's doing, that interests me.
Yeah, that's super cool. You know what? And not to get off the subject, but what I don't understand is why Miami? I mean, you're talking about the most expensive friggin' city. There's no parking. There's no hotels. It's hard to get there. I mean, Miami.
Yeah, now it's January. So everybody who's in New York, up here, they want to go somewhere warm. Yeah. So they're gonna get people like us. Exactly. There you go. If you saw it, yeah, you would want to be. It's on the water. I was literally having workouts with the water view. We were swimming in the bay for certain workouts. The scene is unbelievable. So it just draws all that attention. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a tight venue, but it's a really good time. Right. And it's well known. It's been around for probably 8 years.
Wow. So
it's got a good rep. Yeah.
You got to come to Tampa. I mean, Tampa would be so much easier for those types of events. I mean, it's crazy here. I mean, a great airport. But so the event itself, is it a competition where it narrows down to a winner, or it's kind of just
yeah. So there's several divisions. There's there's probably at least 5 different divisions that you can go into. There's teams, there's individuals, and each one has separate divisions. And certain divisions are higher than others. So it gets to, like a professional setting. There's professional athletes actually here competing. Wow. And those divisions, the professional divisions, they get rewarded with money. So there's definitely a prize purse for that. For qualifying and doing that. The other divisions, like the ones that I did and the other ones, they're kind of there, to get your name out there, enjoy the competition. And of course, there's multiple venues there. So, you have a chance for possible, sponsorships.
Wow.
People reaching out to you, and just kind of like a networking aspect. You could have, so I wore a lot of my Level Up fitness branding, things like that. I have a lot of pictures with that, doing the competitions. So it's more of just that type of setting. And it gives you something to strive for, if you're it's getting back to the different levels. So if you're in a certain level and, you competed, so now it drives you, maybe next year I can get into the next level, maybe like the RX division, and then in 2 years or 3 years, maybe I want to try the elite, it kind of gives you something to really strive for at the same time. It's just really the experience of it that gets you.
Very cool.
Yeah, it gives you something to really look forward to and train for,
Yeah, I was going to say, Rob, without being too mean to us, would there be a level for Chris and I to go in?
You guys are what we call the masters.
That's a nice way to put it.
You guys are the masters. So you have all the experience. You guys got the knowledge. You're very wise.
But can't move.
Yeah.
We got that. The best part I try to bestow in people of Rob's age is getting old is very cool. Because you get so smart that you have smarts you never had. I will never jump off a high 4-foot thing again.
Exactly. That's his proving his point. Exactly. He won't jump off something. Me, I was like, yeah, sure. How high is it? And do I have a rope?
Yeah, you learn a lot getting old and when the body hurts. But to your point, Carmine, for that competition, maybe we can do that. You're right down there in Florida because we have somebody to train us.
Yeah.
There you go. That's true.
It'd be a cool
thing. You were
thing.
down in Florida this past weekend. Should have told me. I was down there in Miami.
Yeah, that's true.
He was out in the cold this weekend. He was in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I don't go to my own competitions anymore. I go to my daughter's competition in Indianapolis in January. It's 2 degrees. I said, I know why there's no ball people up north because it's freaking cold.
Yeah, I got to tell you, we were in probably 70, 75-degree weather during the whole day. It was beautiful. The mornings were, 40. It was very nice. And I came home to maybe -5. That night coming back, I was like, why did I even come back?
Wow, that's crazy.
It was so cold. Our cars were covered in ice. It was definitely –
Well, that's awesome, man. That's so cool that you get a chance to do that. A lot of entrepreneurs, as Chris knows, and if you ever – I know he plays it off, but Chris is a super entrepreneur, man. I mean, he plays it off, joking around and things like that. But if you probably realize that if you have any questions or anything, he will always help out. He's been for a long time. But we only have a few minutes left. Chris, I probably took over most of this time. You have any questions that I've been kind of stealing all your time?
No, I actually didn't let you get away with that. I got a lot of plugs in that I wanted to do as a cross promoter. So I also got to talk about me again, which I try to stay on Rob so I don't get that feedback. Well, what else about him?
Hey, Chris, what do you got going on for the shows coming up? Who do you got lined up? Anybody that we can mention, or we have to secret's a secret?
I like shock and awe with you. Hey, here I am. I'm actually going back to Greenwich tomorrow, set up for someone very special that is an entrepreneur. Also told me about some really cool things happening with Starbucks. I'm interested to hear it firsthand, bring it to the show, because if Starbucks is going to do something interesting, I think we should be on the ground floor of knowing, because a lot of our listeners kind of shy away from Starbucks. And I think maybe it's because of the cost. I don't know, but I'd like to hone in on that and nail that down. 2 more entrepreneurs want to come on the show. I met with them yesterday. They have a product. I want to see how their coffee, they work at a coffee house, how that and their product falls into what you do and how we can really hit the market for him. Great stuff. Yeah,
that sounds like fun. It's funny, Rob, whenever we mention Starbucks sometimes and we get just beat up about it. It's so funny. I think just because they're a chain, everybody likes to be their own have their own personal preferences and stuff like that. But yeah, it is funny that when we mention Starbucks, maybe I can get Schultz on, the CEO of Starbucks. Maybe we get him on the show and we ask him, why he's hated so much.
Yeah, and they're really doing. From what I understand, I'll learn more about it tomorrow. And I thought I was going to be meeting this woman in the city, and she said, I live in Greenwich. I'm like, well, that falls right into CF Coffee. I wanted to go there tomorrow again anyway. So I said, would you be willing to do a quick interview, a pre-interview? And she was all for it. And I'm interested to hear more about her product that she has out there.
That's cool. All right, cool. We're going to kind of close the show up. Rob, give us some information on how people can get in touch with you and where you are.
All right, so I am right next to Bagel Emporium, right in the middle of town. And I have Instagram, so it's Level Up Fitness, fs.c. Then I have a website, levelupfsc.com. And so you can come find me there if you want to check the website. I have information all on the website, class schedules, all my contact information. You can message me and things like that. So just come stop by. I'm very local.
Thank you, Rob. Don't tell me that that's Chris's shirt.
No, this is yours. You just may never see it again. I wanted you to get a good look now because you may never see it again.
Oh, man.
The only thing I have is you got to come in and earn it.
Okay.
I don't just give free shirts away.
Carmine, before we close, I just wanted to touch on one thing that fascinated me here. I just want Rob to close with the lion. Tell us about the lion, how it came to be.
You want to do it like briefly?
Yeah, just
Okay.
why a lion?
So I have the lion back here. Very briefly, it started in my garage. So my best friend, Chris Rios Studios, one of the best artists around, he painted with a charcoal, it's like a charcoal ink. And he just did it right on my wall in the garage, did a lion. And I always liked the lion just because of what it stands for, like the family, the pride. It was the head of everything, and no matter what, it always did its job. And I always picked a lion with scars. I always wanted scars because it really showed, all those hardships that lion has gone through. It still puts his pride first. And very similarly, I like to have that same motto, whereas I have to put my clients, my members first. And no matter what, kind of day I might be having, I could have the worst day. But people are coming to me to, maybe have a great workout. And their day might be really bad. So if they're having a bad day, there's no reason why I shouldn't, try to make their day better. So, in the essence of that same mindset of having, that lion mentality, it really helps. So that's why I always chose the lion. I love what it represents, the pride, the respect, and how strong mentally it is. And I always have the lion's mouth closed because I was always raised, one of the things is on back of Chris's shirt, it says work hard. That's all you have to do is just come in and work hard. You don't have to tell people about it. You don't have to brag about it, but just come in, work hard, and your actions will show it. Yeah. So the lion with his mouth closed, he doesn't have to be open, doesn't have to show his fierceness. You can just see it in his eyes that he does work hard and that he does have, a very good work ethic.
Talk about entrepreneurial brain here. You pull in that parking lot, it's nice and bright, but you see that lion from across the parking lot as you pull up, and people are fascinated by it, as I was.
That's awesome. And that was the brief version. That scares me.
Yeah, that was as brief as I could get. Because, when Chris asked me, we had hours.
Yeah.
Just talking. I was just giving him,
give me something to do while the work was getting done.
Yeah.
What's amazing, though, and I could never do this, is artists have always fascinated me, how they can just pick something up and just create, all kinds of artists, especially being in New York, just, street artists and different people. So it's so cool that your friend just grabs this and draws this out. I mean, just having that type of talent is amazing. It really,
very lucky. He's incredible.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get him on here.
Yeah. I would love it. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. People that can just create like that, just, like it's nothing. And they act like it's nothing. You see these artists, they just, I'll just make this.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Everyone comes in and goes, oh my God, did he really do that? I said, yeah.
That's
I would love to talk to him. Does he drink coffee?
Yeah, he drinks coffee.
He does now.
Doesn't. Yeah, we'll make him.
All right. Well, very cool, guys. Listen, man, we're going to close up the show. Rob, it was great having you on, and I know that we're going to be doing multiple parts. I think when we next time we have you on, let's pick like a subject and try to. It's hard with Chris and I, we know, because we jump around. But if we can have a subject that you kind of get a lot of questions about or something like that, a lot of times you get frequently asked questions. Maybe we can just pick a few and cover some help for some of our listeners. It would be really awesome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, man, thanks. Thank you so much. I think it was great. And Chris told me we were going to have a great time on the show, and definitely did not disappoint us. I think it was great. For me. So for myself, for Carmine Danisco, for my co-host, Mr. Christopher Schauer, and Ron and Rob, I appreciate you being on. We will catch you next time on the Coffee House Show and the See You at 6 Network. If I could ask all of our listeners to please go on out to Google Play or iTunes and leave us a review and a rating. We could really use your help. And if you have a coffee shop or a coffee house or a great cafe that you want mentioned or even interviewed on the show, let us know, and we'll try to send Chris out there or myself and visit them and talk to them and try to get them on the show. It'd be awesome. So for myself, we'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you next time on the Coffee House. You all take care.